Okay. All right. So, welcome back, guys. I am going to go over the patch notes as well as. Well, first of all, before we get into the patch notes, I just want to talk about the new cat. So, well, let's do it this way. What I'll do the patch notes first, and I'll cover each champion as it is going upwards. So I'm not going to be in queue for this right now because it'll probably take me about 20, 30 minutes. Uh, anyway, it should be good. Uh, and we have a special video to go with this cat rework as well. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait to get to that. Anyways, let's start. So 6.12 patch notes. Like previously, I think this is the last preseason patch, pre-preseason patch. So because of that, I don't really know what to expect. I would like for a lot of the junglers get nerfed because I think they're insane, and I would also like for like in some situation Caitlyn or Zyra to get nerfed because I feel like bot lane meta kind of went in some really dumb situation where it's all about laning now, and so I think that's actually a terrible spot for it to be in, and I think that it'd be nice to have better or other ADs show up rather than Jhin, Caitlyn every game, and then Zyra, Nami because honestly, the support meta was super good before they did the last major patch, and then it just went into all lane dominant supports and all lane dominant ADs, which is just terrible in my opinion. So, okay, this is the patch for to keep stuff stable. Let's just get on its way. So let's talk about Nidalee. Nidalee right now is considered to be the best jungler in the game by far. She ganks really well, skirmishes really well, AP damage, 1v1s, does everything. Like her mobility is insane, and she's always been. If you want to know how strong she is, just look at Worlds right now. She's banned. If you're purple side or red side, you have to ban her every single game if you respect the other jungler. And so that should just give you how problematic this champion is, even at a competitive level all the way down. So I think that she needs nerfs in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know how they're going to do it. What are they going to do? Cougar cooldowns up. Primal Surge heals. Now heals less at higher HP. So, okay, they made it so her Q, her W, and her E all have 1 extra second. Wow, that's such a big nerf. That's like a 15% CDR nerf on all of her abilities. That's pretty nuts, but honestly, the champion's so good, maybe she needs it. That's pretty crazy, though, that they had to go that hard. Her E now has it scales based on missing health. That's a pretty big nerf because yeah, it goes up to 210 max at missing health because it's only a nerf at other health values. So what happened was when you had blue buff, you would just spam healing yourself on cooldown. You'll still do that, but you're gonna get a lot less value off of it, especially now that the AP ratio is decreased. Basically, she got a ton of nerfs, but she's still probably gonna be really good. Like I actually don't see how this champion can get knocked out of her throne without maybe more nerfs. I think this, if anything, just makes her okay. Like she's still going to be really good, probably a top 5 jungler, and maybe this is it. All they need to do, because I guess you don't want to trash can her, but I'm hesitant to even think that these changes will make it so Nidalee's that much worse. But we'll see. Ashe. So fix the bug. We're rapidly pressing Q. It reaches the force act to cause rangers focus mana cost to apply multi. Okay, well that's actually a pretty big bug fix. I think they over nerfed Ashe in the last couple patches. I think she could use one of her old nerfs to be reverted or a slight buff on her abilities because I'd like to see Ashe back in the game. Right now, you really only see Jhin, Caitlyn, Ezreal, and maybe even Lucian here and there. And I think Ashe should fit like a really like a niche thing where you want like a specific lane matchup plus like team-wide utility, and quite frankly you're not really getting that from this champ at the moment. Graves, probably a huge solo Q smasher. So a long time ago I said that Graves should now his E should go up to five a cap of 5 stacks. That way it requires you to be in combat longer for you to gain all the balance of his E, because a big problem about Graves is not only does he do a lot of damage, he's also really tanky at the same time. So what did they do? They made it so, oh my god, his cap is now 8. And he gains 2 stacks upon dashing toward an enemy champion. Well, that's pretty nutty. I actually did not expect them to nerf it that much. I expected 5. They went double that, but it encourages you to E toward the other champion to get more stacks. That that definitely hits him a lot where he's probably the most annoying, where he's too tanky for the amount of damage he pulls off. I like this nerf. I think it's really good, and it aligns with my old variation of the nerf I wanted on Graves in the first place. Going down Ivern, I've heard a lot of different things about Ivern. Generally, what I hear about Ivern is that Ivern is pretty good, but takes a lot of games to play. Or like average, above average, but takes a lot of games to play. And he could use some minor buffs, mainly just like quality of life buffs. So what did they do for him? They gave him MR, attack speed growth, and health growth. That's a lot. He got a decent amount of buffs right here. I would be hesitant to nerf or buff Ivern any more than this because I think people are still getting used to him. He probably has a similar skill cap as, let's say, Old Azir or Old Soul did. So maybe not that much. So maybe you need like 20 plus games to be able to be good on this champion. And because of that, you need to hold off on any kind of buffs because people just don't play this champion as much. Or they just need to be able to... There just hasn't been enough time for people to play this champion that much. Going down, Kog'Maw. So they buffed his damage and they lowered his mana cost and ulti. The mana debuff duration got decreased by 20%. That's really good. Base damage goes up by 30. That's really good. Up to... It does more damage... Okay. So especially just as base damage, it does quite a lot more. And it does less in terms of execute damage, but that's okay. I actually think this is nice for me to read because I'm probably going to try AP Kog'Maw when this comes out, because I remember when AP Cog used to be super broken, and this helps a lot, not only for AD Cog, but also for AP Cog, because this is like quite a nice buff to both. And so I like it. I think Kog'Maw should be in the game in some way, shape, or form in case you want to run these protect the AD comps. I think him and Jinx are two very, very big, like, large proponents of those types of styles of play, and I don't want to see them completely like thrown away. I think it's interesting. I'd like to see more. Lee Sin. So what? Resonating Strike and Safeguard once again drop Lee Sin directly on top of this target. Oh, okay, cool. I've had like a couple of bugs where it drops a little bit away, but honestly, it's probably not a big deal. Master Yi. So this champion is not very good right now. He has a lot of problems just being able to sustain. Like, I just think he lacks a lot before he gets itemizations to go out. So when they fixed the passive bug, they fixed dying in alpha. That's actually so funny. He has a minimum untargetability. Oh, so he has actually invulnerability frames now, quarter second. That's actually really good, because before the invulnerability frames of Yi would extend based on how many creeps you're gonna hit and how far away you cast the Q. So now it's just consistent overall. It's gonna be a quarter second. That's really, really nice, because being able to play Yi and like messing up your invulnerability kind of sucks if you're trying to dodge skill shots. It now gains vision of Master Yi is gonna strike on the next bounce, and okay, so he fixes a bunch of bugs. Really, really cool. So that's what I had a lot of problems with, and I like that they just cleaned up him to where he's more easily playable. That's all right. Nasus, ulti now grants armor. Whoa. Okay, they buffed his Q range by 25. That's really good, actually. That's outside of the max range of all ADs by 25, which is not that... Oh, and now it stacks? So it's like 150 and it gets 200 more? That's really big, actually. That's only... Yeah, that's really big. If it stacks, it means that his auto attack range is 350? Something along the lines of that. That's pretty nutty. 350, 375 normal auto range for Nasus means that he's a lot harder to kite. That's pretty crazy, actually. These are some pretty insane buffs. Now grants 15, 35 on activation and gains more every second. So he gains total of 30. Wow, so he gets Cinch passive. But it goes crazy. 100 resist at 16. I think it does feel like it fulfills Nasus's kit better because he gains a lot of damage on his Q farming anyways. Oh, it's 175 outside of ulti and 200 in ulti. Okay, my bad. I thought it ended up stacking, so that would be actually busted. So it was... Okay. My bad. When it says it's stacked, I was really confused. But if it's just 200, that's just a nice small buff. But this is a real big deal. I think it is really nice to be able to get this kind of damage. However, he won't get any raw damage off of his actual autos, but that's okay because I think he should be playing around his Q anyways, because that's the main part of his kit. I think that I like what they're doing with Nasus here. I'd like to see how good he is. I don't think Nasus is very strong right now. Even with these buffs, I don't think he's going to be really super important, but at least gives him more team fighting ability, and I guess maybe 1v1 ability as well. Okay, let's increase this. So Nunu, oh, he got his bonus health per stack. Okay, I thought Nunu was busted anyways. I think this champ is really, really good, and they kind of over buffed him like I was worried about last time, and so they're just making it so he gets 5% less bonus health at max stacks. Pretty reasonable. It's a small nerf. He'll still probably be pretty good. Zach. So now he gets a warning indicator 0.75 seconds before he lands. That's bad for the person Zach's initiating on. Cast range updated to be more accurate for Zach. So it's essentially Cho'Gath Q indicator. I actually don't think that's very good for Zach players, but I guess it gives you clarity on that. That's pretty bad actually. The champion's pretty strong, and at least this way, like, you can't complain about his E being really buggy when he jumps. But maybe don't know if this is the cleanest way to do that. That's pretty bad. York, I think this champion is. I think the ulti cooldown is too long, but I understand that if it was any shorter, it'd be really hard to balance. The problem I have with York is that he doesn't do anything when he falls behind. I think it'd be really nice for York to have some sort of like control on his maiden. Like if you can push the maiden to like attack people and to control like anti-timbers or Ivern ulti, that would make York a lot better, more playable without actually increasing his numbers. And that's actually what I like them to see. Like, and this is coming from a person who plays like a ton of top lane York. It checks for collision a lot faster. So if you touch it, you'll get hit. Okay, that's small buff. Doesn't really change Zig's relative value on anything. Add a spinning icon lower right hand corner of the loading screen. If it stops moving, that means something went wrong. Okay, that's cool. Everything else, I'm assuming, isn't that important. Okay, cool. We can start talking about the other stuff, the more important stuff that everyone's actually here for, which is the PvE Assassin update. So, we'll start with Cat. So let me go over Cat real quick, and then let me show you something about it. So, okay, we're gonna just ignore the goals because honest, I played this champion already, so I can tell you what it means. So essentially, what they did was they reworked Cat's dagger, her W into automatically to spin automatically when she picks up her daggers, and now she has multiple ways to throw her daggers. So a good example is she could throw her Q, and at the very end it lands one of her daggers. If you shuffles to it, she automatically spins and does her old W, which I think is called Sinister Steel, and it also reduces your E a lot. So what the champion actually does is now it has a lot more opportunities to be able to go in, do damage, and go out, depending on how you want to kind of play around her play style. Additionally, on top of this, and the thing that isn't shown here, actually one of the most important things that's not shown here is they buffed her base health regen. It's really high now. Especially if they haven't changed it from when I did play her originally. I think right now Cat's base health regen is one of the lowest in the game. It's like at 3. And they buffed it from 3 to 9 or 3 to 11. So they gave it almost like a 3 times buff. This makes it so that she could actually lane. So before with Cat, if you ever messed up lane, you felt so bad. Now that she has better health regen, she's able to be a lot better. Yeah, it's like probably like it's like 4 to 9 or something. Like it makes it so that she gets a lot more health regen. It's oh, so it went from 4 to 7.5. Okay, so they lowered it. I think they lowered it from when I originally played it. My bad. So still that's a pretty big increase. That's almost double what she had before, and that's actually really important because the hardest part about playing Kaz or laning phase, like straight up, is really hard. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys what it is to play this champion. So I asked Riot. I play tested the champion for Riot. I told you guys that it's not a new thing. And I'm gonna show you a clip of actually me play testing it at the Riot studios against someone who's like, I think he's master right now, so he's relatively good. And it's a good example of how the current cap plays out. So I just published this on my YouTube. I had Basti edit this last night for us, and so let's just go through. So I have full clearance from Riot to be able to use this, and honestly, thank you to if anyone from Riot's watching. Like, thank you very much for being able to let me use this.
How would you describe your cat playstyle?
You're giving me that level of feedback. It's very valuable.
Well, no, I mean for the other players. Like, I don't want to say. I don't want to say that. I don't want to speak for people who don't have a lot of cat games. That was probably the dream for cat players, by the way. What I did right there, because that was insane. That's not something that I meant to do. Stuff just ended up happening where once I worked off the initial reset, I got the W reset. I could shumple again, and it allowed me to do some crazy stuff. I think I'm starting to understand why the W is in the game. I think it's really interesting, actually. The move speed buff is insane, but I didn't realize it was that big on first notice. Yeah, the fact, it doesn't matter if that decays. It's there to allow you to reposition. It's really useful in this matchup because I can reposition out of the Victor W instantly. As long as I don't get baited, because in this matchup the only thing I care about is whether or not I can essentially not die when I all in. And a lot of that is just avoiding his stun because it breaks my highest damage ability. Okay, let me go through this a little bit slower so I can explain to you guys exactly what happens. So let's go here and I'll mute myself. So one, she's a lot different. You're gonna need a lot of games to play her because she's just way different than the old one, and just you essentially should assume she's kind of like a new champion. So her playstyle now sets her up to where she can look to commit, go in or go out, and you can go. Depends how hard you want to go, is depending on where you want to throw your stuff. So in this situation, I throw the initial bounce, and it bounces here. And I think when you're laning against Cat, you're going to want to look at the situation and be like, and you want to stay away from her dagger. Because when you shuffle to her dagger that's on the floor, you get an E reset and you instantly spin to do damage. So what ends up happening here is, okay, I see he gets close. So I E next to him, I get the initial spin damage, and immediately I decide that I want to W. And when I W, I get move speed as soon as I press the W for like a little bit. Or I get move speed off the spin. I don't remember exactly what. So in this situation, I get move speed, so I automatically look to dodge his initial ulti when it comes down. So as soon as I walk away from it, I know I'm in the clear for whatchamacallit, my ulti to pop off. So I was able to shumple, I W, which gave me the move speed. I shumple back to the dagger I dropped on the ground, gives me the spin that does damage, resets my E cooldown again, and I'm able to get an ulti away from his gravity field, which is really important because in this matchup, if he stops his ulti with the gravity field, it sucks. Like, you just don't do anything, and he's able to get away. So now it's away from his gravity field. I have another shumpo to be able to work with, and my Q's coming up again. So as it plays out, he's getting away. Okay, I use the last E I get from the reset to be able to stay on him, and I have Ignite. So Ignite here, and I flash forward, and actually I just flash forward to follow him. But what ended up happening was, since I threw my dagger before, I flashed forward and got the reset on my E again for the 4th reset during this video. And then I E again to him, and I E out. which means that I used 4 different Shumpo resets while doing this. And that's why the champion itself is really different, because you're able to have a lot more control about how much, when you want to go in and when you want to go out. Additionally, your opponent will have a lot of control because he can just watch the ground for the daggers, because it's really not that hard, to be honest. But I don't know if she's busted. In fact, I suspect that she's not. But I guess we'll see how it works out. Honestly, I don't want to say that I love her kit. I want to say that anything is better than the old one, and especially just with the health regen changes alone, it will make her easier to lane, and so you can actually play the champion for longer than laning phase. Generally, though, the champion it's a lot more than just E-ing in and slamming all of your buttons. And so I like that. You know, it requires higher, more thought processes than the old cat used to do. I don't know if it's relatively weaker or stronger. It depends on whatever numbers they end up giving her, because I played her like 2 months ago. But essentially what ends up happening is her mobility is extra strong. Her actual damage is a lot more it's like a lot more broken up, because throwing up with a dagger in the air means you can't immediately W off the reset. You still have the ability to reset and become a monster, but it's definitely a lot harder because it takes a lot more time to throw up your dagger, catch it, get the spin, get the Q, E over, because it's not like immediate, so to speak. Anyways, the last thing that I didn't really talk about is your E now is based around where your mouse cursor is on the enemy champion. So a good example is if your mouse cursor is on whatever side you want her to jump to, you can control that because it's based on where your mouse cursor is on the enemy champion. It's gonna be really strange, because I played it, I was like, okay, this is really awkward. Usually you always want to do it behind him, but when you're looking for short harasses, jumping to the front of him means that you probably take one less auto while running away. And so the champion itself is just, I'm telling you, plays a lot differently because you get so many more options than you used to. Generally, her overall style feels similar, but if you played cat before, it doesn't mean that you'll like this new cat. If you played cat before, it doesn't mean that you'll immediately like pick up on her stuff. It is similar, but it's definitely very different than before. Alright, so let's go on to some of the other assassin feedback stuff. Is it all on this thread? Okay, so let's go with Leblanc and let's go with Rengar. Yeah, Victor can still interrupt my ulti with his ulti, for sure. So Leblanc, what they want to make her healthier by giving her opponents have, yeah. So when you double key them, you don't auto give them, and it doesn't feel like terribly bad. Okay, so she's a deceiver. Her single mouse now her what? Applies to all of her spells, cooks for 1.5 seconds, and you pop that any spell. Okay. It pops to nearby ready sigils. Sure, I'm gonna have to see. I don't know what that means. I understand it, like, theoretically, but I'm gonna need to see it in action. Her mirror image is now part of her ulti. When she copies a spell, she splits both her and her clone casts a spell. Can now copy any spell, not just the most recently casted. She presses R secretly, and the next button presses the mimic. R is the new ability. It creates an uncontrollable clone anywhere on the map. Holy shit. So they just changed her completely? Okay. So now she has the ability to juke with her ulti. I'm gonna need to see it, because it's a lot easier to explain if I have a video to go along with it. It seems interesting. I have to see the numbers for me to get a better idea. The fact that it can go anywhere on the map is actually hilarious, because it means you can juke them, because you can like have it run out of the bush and it's her, you know? So I think that has a lot of unique options. Being able to do that and pretend you're ganking top lane, or pretend you're ganking bot lane, or pretend you're still mid lane. It has a lot of like really subtle things that you could do with it. Very interesting. Not sure how strong it's going to be. Alright, Rengar. So Rengar with LeBlanc is one of those champions where you just kill someone instantly. If you're strong enough, and if you're the AD carry playing against this champ, you probably don't feel very good about yourself. So what does this do? They changed his passive QWR. Okay, they changed essentially everything. Maximum ferocity is down for 4. He automatically gains movement speed using his abilities. That's cool. No longer has to damage an enemy with a spell to gain ferocity. Okay, I don't know about that. I think he should have to, but maybe we'll see. All ferocity is lost when leaving combat. Oh, okay. That's a big difference because you used to be able to prep your ferocity before going in. I like that because it means it's easier to balance. You have to balance around someone doing like full like double Qs or something, or double E's in the rotation. Leap range increases. Wow, that's a big buff. 725. Okay, well let's see the rest of her kit, but that's actually an insane buff. Now grants stacks for unique champion kills. Has to damage them within 1 second. Stacks at 5. Grants up to 15 AD and 30% bonus AD. Okay. All the old bonuses are removed. It's just flat AD. So he's actually just a hunter. If it could be called that. That's interesting. Not sure if it's good or bad. Probably worse than the old one a little bit, but better late game. Oh, on the official page, there are videos. Where's the official page? So someone give me the official page for me to look at. All right, cool. Sick. Let's go back to LeBlanc because it's probably the most important thing for me to look at. So it takes 1.5 seconds to charge her passive. Oh, looks cool. I like it. Kind of looks like a Diana, something Diana would have though, and it has a cooldown attached to it. Okay, pretty neat. So it's just Risey. Okay, so if you W something, so a common combo is to be Wing in, hitting everything plus the enemy champion, and then queuing off of it to wave clear. Okay, yeah, that's fine. W is essentially the same thing, right? Where you just W and you apply the stack. Nothing too crazy. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, that's interesting. You auto pop your passive off your 1E. So so if you're harassing, it's the highest damage ability if you don't have it marked. If you can proc both portions of it. I didn't realize the second portion of her passive would proc her passive, or her second portion of her E would proc her passive as well. This I'm interested in. That's so weird. All right, I have to see this again because that's just actually really weird. All right, let's go with Rengar. So I think it's a lot better for me to look at this stuff normally. So let's just start with his passive. All right, cool. Let's just keep going. So, what does this Q do? I should just read this, right? Slashes enemy in an arc followed by a piercing strike, deals physical damage and generating 1 ferocity. If cast with 4 ferocity, each strike damage is massively increased. So, is it an AoE? Is he an AoE champion now? Oh! That's how it is? That's so weird. Maybe the importance of Tiamat is less important now that you can maybe clear everything around the initial target normally. That's definitely interesting. So what is his new W? It generates 1 ferocity, deal magic damage, healing Rengar for portion of damage he's taken in the last few moments. It has Echo ulti attached to it. What? Removes all existing CC and prevents incoming ones from... Oh, okay. Okay. It's CC immunity for a few seconds. Really? Interesting. Well, that seems really strong. That's definitely... I don't know if Rengar players needed a CC break that also makes them unCCable for a little bit. But, I mean, I guess maybe. His bowl is the exact same. So I don't really need to see this. I just want to see if there's any new animation. Okay. And what is his ulti? What did they change about this ulti? While stealth gains movement speed and can see the nearest champion from him from very far away. Leap to... Oh, it guarantees a critical strike on the leap? Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, they changed the animation. That looks kind of neat. Wait, jump on them. Oh, it only shows one champion, though. It doesn't show every champion? Huh. But it automatically redirects to showing the nearest one. Okay, I think that's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just more worried about his other abilities, but it seems like he snowballs harder than he would before, and he has a lot more unique kits, like options in his kit. Certainly interesting. Not sure what I expected. Lastly, Talon. His new passive wounds champions epic monsters for a short duration, stacking up to 3 times. When basic attacks a fully wounded target, they bleed for a large amount of physical damage over time. Okay. What is that? Oh, okay. So he's got a 3-hit passive that bleeds. Pretty straightforward. What is his new Q? It leaps to target, dealing physical damage. It casts from melee range. Instead, crits the target. When he kills a unit, regains a small... Oh, so it has the your Q treatment where it heals you when you kill it. And it leaps with the normal Q. Okay. Okay. Value of IE is still pretty good on this champion. Him having a gap closer like that is pretty interesting. I wonder if he still has the same gap close as he did before. Tosses a volley of blades in direction, returning after a brief delay. On the return, deals increased physical damage and slowly... So it does more damage on the return. Okay. And it doesn't slow on the initial rake? That's so weird. I actually think that's pretty bad. It should slow on the initial rake. Maybe it might just be a typo. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. It should slow on both directions. Slowing on just the return seems really awkward. Targeted terrain allows Talon to do super cool vault over it. Can't vault over the same terrain for a long period of time. What? What? He actually is parkour. This is... They saw like an Assassin's Creed trailer and they're just like, you know what? We gotta add this to Talon. I mean, alright. I'll see how it works out. Is that it? Sure. Okay, what's his ulti do? Fires increasing movement speed, making him invisible. Blades converge on target, dealing physical damage each time they pass through an enemy. Okay. Whoa, wait a sec. If he breaks his stuff with Q, the blades converge on his target's location instead. Oh, so now you can do something cool where you ulti and then you Q and you leap to him. And then him or her or it. And then it allows you to have all the things go to it. That's kind of cool. It still counts as one passive proc per iteration. Wait, it doesn't show you what happens when you mark them with Q? Alright, honestly, he looks cool. I dig it. I dig it. I gotta see how it plays out though. He seems like we'll see if he's better, but definitely he can lane easier. At least, even with just his Q, his laning probably got like a decent amount easier. Let's see the rest of the stuff. So, oh, actually, need to know, did they change anything else? No, they didn't change anything else. Alright, let me see the rest. So Fizz's shark gets bigger based on how far chum the waters gets. Okay, that's pretty cool. Upon killing a champion with Death Mark, permanently gains a portion of their AD. Wait, what? Excuse me? Permanently gains. This is how we're gonna. Oh, okay. Riot thought that the assassins didn't snowball hard enough, so they gave Rengar and Zed the ability to permanently get buffs. That's interesting. I don't necessarily know if he needed this, but I guess he did. Oh, they removed the AD from his W? Okay. I guess that's okay. Certainly very, very strange. Akali blinks a short distance, leaving Twilight Shroud at her original location. Okay. I think she'll automatically be better because you can't pink ward her Shroud due to the new changes to invincibility. So Akali just got, like, I don't think she needs that much more help afterwards. Kha'Zix, evolutions are evolving too. Oh, so three of the evolutions are becoming more suited for isolated takedowns. That's cool. I'll see what happens later. Jacob clone drops 3 boxes and causes enemies to flee when it dies. Not what I expected the change to be, but okay. Passive no longer slows, but Chrono Break triggers parallel convergence. Wait, what does that mean? What is parallel convergence? I forgot what ability that was. Parallel. Wait, it triggers the stun on his ulti? Or is what? How does that make sense? I have to see it. Like I don't if it's what I think it is, that's ridiculous. If he can literally just E up to someone, Q, and an ulti for an AoE stun, his initiation is absurd. Like he could just initiate with him as like a team fight initiator. Now you don't need any skill to be able to use your W. There's no way that's how it works. Like they wouldn't do that for Echo. That like they wouldn't do that. Current AD assassins barely do more than increase the raw output of damage. Okay, so what is this? Flat armor pen has been changed to lethality. They're pretty much the same thing, but the bulk of lethality's penetration scales with your opponent's level. This will make it less snowballing, meaning we can give assassins more of it than we could flat armor pen. Okay. I like the idea of it. So it gives AD, lethality, ally combat movement speed, and then it gives you. Oh, you have to poach a large enemy jungle camp or enough large enemy jungle camps, and it gives you a spell shield. What? What is that? Are you serious? Why would you? Okay, you know what? I play assassins, so that sounds great. I love when I get random spell shields on my champions. I like the idea of encouraging theft. The idea of getting a free spell shield though, interesting. Duskblade or Drakthar. Oh, your next base attack does true bonus damage. So they just changed the popping damage on it. Okay. And it gains true sight when spotted by an enemy ward. Oh, also cool. That you can sweep a lot easier with this. Cool. Oh, sorry. This transforms into the Serrated Dirk, not the Sorcerer's Bane. This is... Sorry, I misread it. Yomu's, it gives you cooldown reduction, movement speed, and blocks the next. It blocks an auto attack? That can be abused so much too. Alright, you know what? I'm down. I have a spell shield and an active Pantheon W, so I can outplay people more. Mob of Mortis, this isn't for you, assassins. Doesn't grant lethality. Builds out. I'm still gonna build it on assassins. It's probably still too good. They reveal and disable nearby enemy wards and traps, but they don't reveal invisible champions. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's overall the end of my overview. The new Assassins is pretty cool. I am going to need to see how at least Talon and Leblanc play in game, especially Talon. I understand it, but I have to play it out. I'm a little bit scared about some of the itemization changes, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm gonna go play some mats. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I could go Ignite.
Clans? Are you serious?
You want me to go Ignite?
You're pussy if you go clans. What the hell?
Alright, I go Ignite.
Why do you need a clan if he's dead?
Good point.